Hi everyone. Today I'm going to talk about the sampling methodology. So, if you are working in a quality field, you have heard this term multiple times. The reason is that the sampling is very common and widely used terminologies, and still we have seen that the many people struggle about it. Today I'm going to talk about the sampling technique, sampling methodology, why it is important, from where it is came, and how it is impacting your life. So, let's start the video and let's talk about the sampling today. All right. So the sampling is not something that started in BPO. It is the very old concept, starting from the back in the days when we have the World War Second is going on. So the reason that it started because at that time there are a lot of weapons and we cannot check the quality of the weapons 100%. So instead of that, what people have decided at that time, they try to check the sample out of the weaponaries, the bullets that they have, and according to they make the decision. So in short way, you can consider sampling is that. So you take out a sample and you just check it out, and after that you make the decision. In the statistical term, you can say like that sampling is something that you are taking out a sample out of a large population, and finally you are drawing the conclusion out of it. There is one more saying that you can use it or you can remember it, like you don't have to eat whole cake to know it's a chocolate. So here the piece that you are eating to determine whether the chocolate, whether the cake is a chocolate cake or not, is the something that is helping you define the entire thing. That is called a sampling. Now, so there are two main names that you can remember every time whenever you are dealing in the quality or you are doing a Six Sigma or any of the lean or a modern quality framework like quality assurance or total quality management. That is first name that you are going to heard about the Demings, the Edward Deming, and the second one is Walter Stewart's. So these are the two names that you're going to heard and again because these are the one who are the very big name and they have done a lot in the statistical quality. Coming to our the back topic that I started the video on, that is sampling. So you know that sampling we are taking out a sample. Let's say that in your process in your BPO that you guys handle 100 calls or 1,000 call, right? But now you have to audit, then you are going to audit 100 to 200 call because you are not able to audit all the thousands call. Those 100 or 200 call that you pick for audits, we call it a sampling, and that they are called the sample size. Now, why we are doing it? Uh, yeah, there is a possibility that we can audit thousands or 10,000 call whatsoever our contact center is handling. But in practical life, that is not possible because we have a time constraint, we have a resource constraint, and we don't have that much bandwidth or money so that we can hire more quality auditor to perform all the audits. So instead of that, we are making our decisions based on the sampling that we have picked, and those sampling are giving us the direction by which we are making our judgment. So the sampling can be based on two ways, or it can be categorized into two types. The one is the probability sampling, the second one is non-probability sampling. So these are the backbone of it. Probability means that the every contact, every call that has been handled by the agents, there are equal probability that that call can be picked. Here, I'll give you the simple example. Let's say that we put a randomizer, and after that we are picking out the call. Then we call it random sampling. The second method, what we can call it, is that uh, uh, the nth sampling, which means that let's suppose that after every 10th call we are going to pick, or every seventh call we are going to pick for an audit. So this is the another method by which we can do the sampling, right? The nth method sampling. And after that, what we can do is the stratified sampling. This is another common where we categorize into the groups. strats, we call it. For an example, we have a bifurcation of tenured and new hire in our group. So we say that, okay, let's audit 50 calls for new hire and the 100 call for the tenure. And this will be going to give us a balance inside. And I think this is the very one is useful in the BPO. The cluster sampling is one more options that we generally pick. And these all are the probability sampling. Here, what we do is that we pick the cluster. For an example, specific teams, specific queue, specific geo. That is something that we generally use. If I talk about non-probability sampling, this is something where we follow the business specifically. For example, we call it judgmental sampling. Let's say that we allow the auditor to select any call based on their experience, based on whatever they think of it. We call it a judgmental sampling, and generally we like complex cases, escalations, uh, are the example of these cases. And this is high impact because experience many times that the auditor find calls that are helpful, but not always. This is great, but yeah, sometimes is helpful. Then is the convenience sampling, which means that uh, what pick what is easily available. So this is something we can do. Then there are other type of sampling like quota sampling, bias sampling, targeted sampling, where we generally going to pick set samples only, repeat contacts only, only escalation. We called it targeted sampling. These are non-probability, and these drives improvement and find the real issue quickly. So generally, if you ask me that what kind of sampling that BPO do, I think that I believe that, or I can say that the 60 to 70% is random sampling that involve fairness. 20 to 30% is targeted sampling, where is BQ management and which drive improvement, and the 10% is judgmental sampling, where the auditor research and search based on his experience. So this is how that we work in the BPOs, and based on the process to process, variability exists. Now that the focus on by sampling, example of the negative survey, and from where we can drive the strategy. So sampling is not only about the selecting the calls; it's all about selecting the truth. Uh, if we do the wrong sampling, then we get the wrong insights. Once we get the wrong insight, then we make a wrong decisions. Once we make a wrong decision, then there is a business loss, right? So, having said that, I'm closing this entire talk that is related to sampling. In quality, there is a saying that in quality, we don't need more data, we need the right data, and the sampling is how we find it. So, considering this, so always find the right data for you.